you got the house. So I look at the window, and there's a really nice Beamer they're driving. Come to find out, he has his own internet sales business in the drug business. He owns a pot farm up in Colorado.
Oh, you did say drug business. I saw it.
Drug business, yeah.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, and she works it on too. And I guess to keep her real or something, I don't know. But yeah.
I think that's to probably get clients for her pot.
Yeah. They're late night, people got munchies. Hey,
Yeah.
you up.
Come in late.
But he's working on getting his letter of intent or get approved to see what he can qualify for. But one first house he saw, he said it's $617,000. And he goes, "We really like this house. We'll see really good, but you get your letter." All right.
Yeah, awesome.
That'd be great.
Let me know if you get too busy to work with those people.
Drug dealers. Probably cut you a discount too on some of the product.
Yeah. My son Nate would love to work up there for him.
Okay. I think we've got everyone that's kind of very disappointed though. It's my fault though. I'll have to send an email out. Only if we cancel it specifically, don't show up. That's what we'll tell them. Okay, so.
Well, and you're also, lately, Christy has been sending out an email too saying, this is what's coming up.
Was it not on
this
that?
weekend. That email didn't come either.
Okay. Alright, we'll get it out. I need a reminder on my phone or something, or in my calendar book. Okay, we're going to talk about buyers today. Normally, I had it up here, I was talking with Carrie a little bit. Normally, we kind of go over how to set expectations properly, what to say to not spook or scare off your buyer once we have them under contract, and once we can get them to the closing table. Today, I was going to switch up because I do that in every boot camp, and I did it last Saturday, and if you want, we can go over it again later at the end. But I kind of wanted to go a little bit how to kind of capture a buyer more, and in kind of the psychological process someone goes through when they're trying to buy something. I'm using Darren's thing that we paid for a long time ago, so that'll put some use into it. So the first thing, again, I was talking with Carrie about this. I thought this was good to know. Whenever you're working with buyers, the number one thing to do is to set expectations. The more you do it, the more you're going to know where and how to set those expectations, what to say. You're going to be able to get in problems before they arise and kind of squash things, nip them in the bud. But when you're brand new or when you haven't worked with a bunch, there's kind of 4 levels of competency. If you've seen this, just kind of bear with me because I'm going to write it anyway. So there's unconscious incompetent. So basically, if you're brand new in the business and you don't have any idea, you don't even know what a for sale by owner is, what an open house is, what a buyer looks like, what a seller looks like, what networking is, you don't even know what you don't know. So this is when you're brand new. Hopefully no one in here is this. Next step is when you're conscious and competent. So now you've been immersed in the industry. You know what a for sale by owner is. You know what you're supposed to do open houses. You're supposed to do for sale by owners. We're supposed to recruit. We're supposed to network. But I don't know a thing about them. I don't know how to do them. I can't do them on my own. But I know about them. So here you are. You're learning as much as you can. You're talking to as many people as you can. You're getting in front of as many people as you can. This is where a lot of our new people are in their first couple of months. And this is why our system is designed to get you in front of 100 people a month for 24 months, because you need to go from here to here and here to here as quickly as possible. So this is going to get you here really quickly. So this one is conscious competent. So this is, imagine a little kid tying his tennis shoes. He just learned how to tie his tennis shoes. He loops it, he makes big movements, he's rolling over. He can tie his tennis shoes, but if you walk up and say his name, he's going to screw up. He has to think completely on his tennis shoes. He can't do 2 things at once. So in his conscious, he's competent at doing it. He can do it if it's all he's thinking about. The next one, and where we want everyone to be, is unconscious competent. You can do it in your sleep. If anyone's seen Steve do the Tuesday meetings, he probably mumbles those in his sleep, I'm sure. He's done it for the last 60, 70 weeks, or however long it's been. So he's done something enough, as many times as he possibly can, where he's unconsciously competent at it. He doesn't even have to think about it. When I first started, I did some open houses with him, and he doesn't even, I tried to ask him, like, what'd you do there? What'd you say there? And he has to think about it a second, because he just does things unconsciously and to get to where he wants to go because he's done it so many times, 20-some years of doing this. So when you're new or when you've only been in it a few months, you're not going to be like people who have been doing it for 5, 6, 7, 20 years. You're not going to be unconsciously competent, but you have to move up. And the only way to do that is to do exactly what we tell you to do over and over and over and over and over and over again until you're here and you can do it in your sleep. So don't get discouraged if you don't know. Again, Kerry brought up a question. He doesn't know what to expect in the process right now. So you're right. Right now, he's here. He doesn't know what the end of this process is going to look like yet because he hasn't got there yet. He does it 1 or 2 times. Now he's here. He has to focus on it, but he can get it done really easily. A couple months down the road, he's going to be able to do it in his sleep. It's not even going to need his full attention. So, I wanted to cover that with you. So, capturing a buyer, again, the biggest thing to know about buyers is set expectations. I'll say this as many times as I can. If you don't know how, when, or where, or why, get with your mentor. Tell them, here's where I'm at in my process. What do we need to be looking for? It's a good question. It's an easy question. Your mentor should be able to answer. So capturing buyers. I was watching Jordan Belfort, if you know him, The Wolf of Wall Street, that book, that movie. Anyone seen it? Mm-hmm. So he went to prison. Government took all his money, and now he's making millions of dollars a year again now, selling his sales strategy. He has what's called the straight line method, which is not overly complicated. He basically just says, here you are, here's the close, get to here. Don't talk about any of this bull crap up here. Just sell it, So he's real aggressive on the phone. It's not anything crazy. But there's 2 things he says there's 3 things he says you have to be in order to capture someone's imagination, capture someone's attention, and capture someone's business. The first thing he says is, so in a very short amount of time, when we're looking at picking up a buyer, we're going to be doing this in a open house, on a phone call. We have a very, very short amount of time to capture this person. Not very much time at all. And it has to be done with body language, tonality. There's been studies, I think like 9% of communication is actually words. The rest of it's tonality, body language. Very important. When you're on the phone, it's all tonality. It's all how you sound. When you're in person, it's body language. It's tonality. So what you have to establish very, very quickly, and what he says is, sharp as a tack. That spell right?
I wouldn't know. Skills.
Yeah. All right. So there's 3 things. He says you have to come off sharp as a tack. You have to be enthusiastic, and you have to be the authority figure. So really, what he's saying is you have to have knowledge, you have to be enthusiastic, and you have to have confidence in everything you're saying. When you're new, it's going to be really hard, but practice, and again, knowledge is going to lead into that confidence. The more you know about an area, about a builder, about a neighborhood, about a house, you're going to be more and more confident as you speak about it. You live in Surrey, you know a bunch about Surrey. You can talk very competently about Surrey Hills. So you are that authority figure. So knowledge is the first thing. You have to walk in. They have to perceive you as the expert right away. How you want to do that, again, is the confidence and your authority. Enthusiastic is the other thing. No one's going to buy anything from someone who doesn't want to be there selling it himself, right? So when these 3 things combine, you're going to capture their imagination. You're going to get them excited about something because people have to be excited about something to buy. They're not going to buy something they don't want or they don't need. So you have to get them in a state of readiness to buy. And again, they want to buy from you because you're confident and you know everything, and you're enthusiastic, you're excited about selling it. Darren, what did I do with that? On my desk. So Darren Wilson gave us a training a while back about are you going to go get it?
No, I got it right here.
Oh, yeah, there it is. So Darren gave us a training a while back about the psychology of a sale, about what the buyer. He looks fancy. Sorry, Brandon Baca just walked in. He looks really nice.
Everybody stop and look.
Yeah.
He's going to a funeral.
He's in the back there.
He comes to training ready.
Yeah. Ready to rock and roll. And another thing, guys, a big thing about this, that being perceived as sharp as a tack, a lot of it's looking like Brandon Baca looks right now. Now, depending on how well you know your client, who it is, what the situation is, if you're going out to a construction site, maybe not so much. But being in that position, being that person they perceive to be, very knowledgeable, enthusiastic, and of the authority figure of this product or this area, you have to look the part too, unfortunately. He gave some stats, I can't remember what they were, of like pinky rings was one thing. That if I'm in front of you and I see you're wearing a pinky ring, my likelihood of buying with you goes down a lot. There's like 4 or 5 things he gave that were pretty funny. So on a male, I don't know if it's the same thing on a female. So look the part, be ready for the part, be ready to have face-to-face with people. So Darren Wilson gave us he kind of walked through the psychology of a sale, what goes through the buyer's head as they're purchasing a product. And it applies to any product, whether it be business to business or person to person. As they go through this process, they have to check these boxes off, basically. Really good handwriting. Okay, so these are the things that I have to approve of before I buy anything, in this order of importance as well. A lot of people think price is the number one thing people look at. Not the case. Think about anything time you've bought something. We'll kind of go over an example. So the first thing, I have to be comfortable with this salesperson. I can't perceive this salesperson to be sleazy, unhonest, or dishonest. I can't perceive them to be anything other than straightforward and knowledgeable. The company, it has to be someone that they perceive to be reputable, whether they know about them or not, and we'll tell you how to kind of get around that. Kevo struggled with that for a while. Now we don't really have that much problem with it anymore. The product, they have to have a need for that product. In some cases, they might just really want it, but they have to have a need. Whether their want is so great, it's a need. So they have to be interested, need, and have a use for the product. The price has to match what they have in mind, whether it be their expectations or what they know it's going to cost, and the timing of it. Do I need it right now? When do I actually need to purchase this product? So we use the example of when you're buying, imagine you're buying a big screen TV. You walk into Best Buy in this situation. Those salespeople aren't really salespeople. They just kind of work there. So your salesperson's Best Buy. Best Buy is a huge national chain. We know they're reputable. So I'm comfortable with Best Buy. We walk in the company. I'm buying Samsung. I know, another Kevo shirt. We walk in. I'm buying a Samsung. I know Samsung makes a great TV. I read it all over the internet. So now I know Best Buy is a good company selling a good brand. And the product, TV, mine broke. I need this product right now. My TV went out. It's fuzzy. Whatever. I need the product right now. Price. I know they're going to cost $2,300. I could probably spend $1,000, get a smaller one, maybe get a Westinghouse brand or something like that you've never ever heard of. But I'm comfortable with these 3 things, so I'm going to be comfortable with the price now. The timing, the football game's on Saturday, so I need to buy this TV right now. So when these things all align, you're going to buy a product. Now, again, my friend was looking to buy a TV for his outdoor patio. Didn't want to spend a lot of money, so he bought a Westinghouse TV. Probably never heard of it. It's Target's brand. And after about a month and a half, it started slowly breaking. And so he skipped these 2 processes and went straight to this one. Didn't end up well for him. When you buy discount products, you expect discount results. But so someone has to kind of work through these processes in their mind. And how we do it, so imagine yourself in an open house. We have to work these people through this process in order to capture them as a buyer. They walk in, you are knowledgeable, enthusiastic, and you're the authority figure. Right away, you're going to be perceived as the expert in that area. If you do it properly and you do your training properly. They're going to walk in, they're going to see you, and they're going to say, okay, this guy knows everything about this neighborhood. He knows everything about this area. I'd be dumb not to use this person, right, in a perfect world. So company, a lot of times I'm working new construction. The people will say, do you work for the builder? They kind of want to understand what my role is. If you're an existing house, they kind of know you're a realtor. But somewhere in the process, you have to give a spiel about Kevo properties. If you don't, if you skip number 2 and go to 3, 4, 5, it's gonna come up later, whether you're around or you're not. So, you pick up a buyer, maybe you pick up their listing, and they're telling all their friends at work, "Hey, I'm listing my house with Brett Kreger." "Oh, cool. Where's he with? What company is he with?" "Kevo Properties." "I've never heard of Kevo. Who's that?" And now your client's like, "Yeah, who is that?" "I've never heard of Kevo either." Now that you mentioned, he was just really, he talked really good when I met him in the open house. So you have to kind of, and when they set up that doubt, it's going to grow in their head. And if anything happens adverse to that listing or to that process at all, it's going to come back. You've skipped a step, and it's going to cause an issue down the road. It's as simple as saying, Kevo Properties, we're locally owned, been in business about 6 years, and we've already grown to the 8th largest brokerage in Oklahoma City. We're having tremendous growth. Right away, it's simple, it's stupid, it's easy to use. They can regurgitate it real easy. That way, when they're at work Monday morning and say, "We listed our property with Brett Kreger," "Who's he with?" "Kevo." "Who's that?" "Oh, they're new. They've been in the market for about 6 years, and they're already the 8th largest in the." "Oh, okay, cool, great." Now we move past it. It's a blurb. It's very small. It's very simple, but it gives them an ability to get past that and understand who you are, that it's a reputable company. The product, again, the house they're buying, the house they're selling is going to be the product they're going to have a need to either move it or move into it. Price of home, it's really the 4th largest or the 4th most important thing. If they're happy with everything else and it meets their needs that we talk about in our buyer consultation, it meets their needs, meets their wants, and they're not overpaying for it, that's where you're going to come in to make sure we're telling them. They're going to be comfortable paying market price. Most people. I've worked with some people who think everything should be discounted 20% for them. There's some cultural differences you may have to overcome in certain areas where people buy discount homes. But for the most part, if they're matching everything, they're going to be comfortable paying a price that you recommend as a reasonable, fair market price. And the timing, again, if you match all their needs, overcome their objections properly, their timing is going to kind of depend on if they're a want to, have to, need to, which we kind of talked about that last time. But this is kind of the process that people have to move through in order to be comfortable purchasing something. And again, it's in this order that they're most comfortable with. If they can't get past you, if they walk in and perceive you as a dum-dum, they might go buy something later, but it won't be with you. And so this is the order that we have to approach them. Approach them in the sales order. Otherwise, if we don't get through these objections in their mind, we're not going to have a chance to ever get them to even write an offer, to even show them a house or anything like that. That's all I had on that. Step in, anyone?
Questions? Anybody yet?
Well, just especially when you can go through this in a recruiting process too, but don't ever forget that sometimes it might just not be the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes because probably every one of us in here would probably go buy a brand new BMW if it's the right time,
mm-hmm.
right? If we like the company, the product, and the price, right? Or an Aston Martin. Probably nobody in here, but it's the timing, mm-hmm. right? Even if you're comfortable with the price, it's the timing. So never forget about that.
Yeah, and it's in our little training, he also said it kind of gave like a breakdown of the buying decision, like what percentage of purchases are made for this reason. 58% of purchases, people would say, are made because of a relationship they have. I buy all my TVs at Best Buy, so I'm going to go to Best Buy. That's why I went and bought it at Best Buy. The second largest is the product or service, because you know it's a reputable product. Regardless of who sells it, I'm going to go buy that product. The value added, how bad I needed it, the timing of it, how bad did I need it at this point was. But only 9% of the time it says people bought something solely because of the price. Where I'm looking at 2 products, and I only bought it simply because the price is lower. So price is definitely an issue. It's definitely a topic, but it's not the number one thing that we're talking about. And it's not what we have to get to in order to get to close someone. What we have to do is make sure they understand everything else, that they're comfortable with it, and it meets their needs, obviously. But psychologically, assuming everything meets their needs, this is the process we're going to go through.
Because if they're going to buy a house, if they're approved for $200,000 and they're going to buy a house, let's say anywhere from 100, and usually people max themselves out, but even if it's between 190 and the 200,000, there is no, why the price becomes irrelevant is because their monthly payments aren't any different. So it's like it's not, because usually once we get to the point where we're writing the offer on the house, it's not about it comes down to like less than $10,000. Ooh, don't put that on me.
Yeah.
I have to do it with my hands. But I do have my shirt on.
Yeah. Looks good as hell.
But once you get to that point, it's not going to be a big deal. So you're talking $10,000 of closing the gap, and it's going to it's 20 or 30 bucks a month for where they live. So that's irrelevant. And the only book I would say, if you're going to go buy books and read books on the subject, the ones that you should focus on is number one. Go buy books that are how to win and influence, people, books on your tone. Because if you master number one, the rest of it's easy. It's right.
The other thing that I would say about when you're searching for homes for people, zero in on the product, because they'll tell you a price, and like Steve said, they're lying about the price that they want. They're like, oh, I don't want to spend over X amount. As a matter of fact, in the buyer consultation, I'm spending most of the time establishing the relationship with them. We reinforce the company, but we're zeroing in on what they want first. Price comes later. And I've seen this where I've seen a price difference where we're like, well, we're not finding them what they want. We're not finding them what they want. I said, no, they're telling you what they want. You're just looking at the wrong price range. We bumped the price range up $50,000. We said, hey, here's what you want. We know it's more expensive than you wanted to spend, but it has everything that you wanted. And they bought it. So we're not saying price isn't important. We're not saying it's the most important thing. And like Steve said, the most important thing is you. But price is way down on the list where people make decisions.
And a lot of times, this process is you're not gonna fly through this process in one meeting. Your initial meeting, open house, sign call, you're talking about one thing. It's you. I'm smart. I'm the smartest. I know everything about this. Blah blah blah. This is what we're talking about right now. Once you capture that person initially, then we go on. We start talking about where I work. Again, we count it a little blurb. Really doesn't need to be talked about much at all. Just give them ammo to talk about should they get in a conversation with someone else. And then as we start looking for houses, that's when these come up. But really, when we talk about buyers, our initial thing is they have to trust the salesperson. They have to perceive you as the expert, and they have to want to work with you. Did you have something, Gary? I thought you raised
I did actually have something. You were talking about, and I may have missed it when I went to the restroom. You said be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic and authority. I think the knowledge, we have to get the knowledge, like I was telling you earlier, knowing what to do, like on an offer, you said write an offer or whatever. Having that information, well, let me back up to sharp as a tack. Personally, I wear suits a lot, not because, I don't mind wearing suits, but psychologically, it makes me feel one up, even if I don't know anything.
Looking good's half of being good.
And it kind of gives me that extra boost. Hopefully that they say, okay, he looks like he knows something, even if he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I try to psych myself out by doing that because I feel better about myself rather than being in whatever like this right here, on open house. I think for me, and I can't speak for all new people, but the knowledge of not so much about the home, because you can pull that down off the internet and print that out, but having that information and knowing about that home, but kind of knowing what you're going to talk about. I'm more of a role play person, so if I can get somebody to role play with me, like say if you're, me and you, whatever, you say, okay, Carrie, let's pretend like we're in the open house. If I can get that, that makes me feel a little bit more confident. How do I look like an expert? Because if I don't know anything, I don't feel like an expert. It's easy to say, hey, be an expert, Ethan. Yeah, just be okay. Yeah, I'm an expert, but what does that look like? What does it feel like? So role playing with me, throwing some questions at me, being the customer in practice teaches me how to play in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When I actually get there, at least it kind of helps me personally. Everybody has different learning styles, and I get that too. But those kind of things for me, answer those three questions: to be the authority, to be enthusiastic. I think it's easy. People on your side, meaning who've been there a year, 2 or 3 or 4 or 20 years, like Steve, whatever. You guys can. It's easy to say, man. Just say this right here. Right, get out of my, you know what I'm saying. So, kind of walk us through if you can. If you want to throw something out there, like how to approach somebody. Maybe the buyer comes in. We're talking about getting buyers. That buyer comes in, maybe an open house, maybe a FISBO, maybe you meet them in the grocery store, whatever. I mean, I don't know if you have any feedback for somebody like me. I don't know if anybody else has these same questions, but I know I'm all over the board.
Make sure you summarize for the people on the
So-
camera. I'm gonna move up just in case we.
Okay.
So,
I said a lot of stuff. I don't know if I said anything.
I'll summarize a little. I'll try.
It's
Stop
just
me if I
we
miss
need to go
something.
through the steps of like what it starts out, what our system is to becoming an expert in the area.
Exactly.
Like
So,
reviews and all that.
Right.
So Carrie's question was, we're going back to the things that your buyers are going to look for when they meet you, being sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, and authority, and how do you become these things, and how do you get from where you're at now to where you are, where you can be perceived as sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, and authority figures. And what activities we can do to become these things. My answer is not overly brilliant. We have scripts, things to say, whether it be on the phone with FISBO, whether it be person to person with open house people. Sharp as tack, knowledgeable, that can be done in a fairly short amount of time. Study an area, learn the price per foots, learn who's building there, learn what schools are there. There are certain things that people care about, and not much. There's not many things. You might get a weird question, but you can very easily divert back to the things that you know. And so knowing an area really well is going to be the first thing relative to real estate. Knowing an area, knowing a neighborhood, knowing the builders, the builder, the house. That stuff can get you sharp as a tack on an area. If I can tell you about everything in this neighborhood, or even a similar neighborhood down the street, even in a short amount of time, and you can stop the conversation whenever your information runs out too. I do that a lot. When I regurgitate everything that I know, I'll stop it and say, you know what? Let me send you some info. Let me send you what I've told you because I don't have any of it here. You know, whatever. I'll stop it and give myself a sales objective. I'll give myself something to do, or give her something to do. But really, we kind of have a system, the 3-touch system in our open house. We kind of tell you what to do, what to talk about. And you're going to sound stupid when you do it first. You're right. You're not going to know how to answer questions. You're not going to know how to divert a conversation back. But the only way to move from that unconscious incompetent to the unconscious competent is to do it over and over and over again. Because the more you do it, again, you're having the same conversation over and over and over again in real estate. People have the same questions, the same objections, the same motives. And so when you have that conversation over and over again, you just begin to know what they're going to say. You know what to prepare for because you know what questions they're going to ask. You know how to divert away from that question, divert towards information that you know. And there's really not it's just knowledge it's repetition in those conversations. And I don't know if.
Last week, or the last couple of weeks when I went out and shared homes to look at it, one of the things that I really liked when I was working with her is she had a list of like 10 houses in the area that were on the market or whatever, within a certain mile radius. And if people, for whatever reason, were asking those questions or went down that path, it was easy for her to just pull it out and say, hey, here's one about a block over on the next street over. And it's like, okay, boom. It's easy to take them over there or tell them where it is and talk about that when it set it up to where you can go visit that particular home. So you're right on target.
That's a standard procedure for our open houses. It's going to take you, realistically, it's going to take you probably 2 years to where you've got a pretty good working knowledge of the city, neighborhoods, price points, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But you learn that 1 week at a time. right? By when you do your open house, you're scouting your area, right? When you get a listing, you need to know every single listing that's in that neighborhood. So, you know, you can kind of see how even after a period of 8 weeks, if every for sale by owner that you turn into a listing, you learn about that neighborhood, and every open house you're doing, you learn about that neighborhood. I mean, now we're talking about at least 10 previews a week where you're learning. By the way, every listing, you're actually going in those houses, looking at the condition, right? Because we set up the agent preview for when we do listings and agent preview for when we do open houses, right? We go see 5 houses in the area. We learn everything about it. So that way you can even see after 3 months how much knowledge that you'll gain from going to do that. Listen, information is not what people are looking for. They can get information on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com. What people want is wisdom, right? You're going in the house, so that gives you the wisdom of knowing what the average condition is, right? Hey, the houses that are selling for $95 a square foot, those ones are the ones that have granite countertops and everything's repainted and they got fresh carpet. This one is more of an $85 square foot house because those things need to be redone here. So that's what people are looking for. They can gain the information, they can look at pictures, but they're looking for somebody who has wisdom in the marketplace, and that's what you have to gain. So you got to do your homework. You can't just kind of, hey, I'm going to go sit at this open house and hopefully things will work out. Hopefully I'll connect with somebody. You have to be able to know all of those things about the neighborhood and be able to connect them with the product that they want.
No, I'm going to pick something that Sherry does. That if you'll notice that gathering the, going and previewing the houses. And knowing the neighborhood, knowing the school systems. Those are just items for you to talk about through the conversation. But when you're in the conversation, what Sherry will do, because I've worked with their open houses too, and I watch her work. She is talking about the other houses that are available, but in between, she is weaving personal connections. I've heard her say stuff like when she figured out they might drink beer. I've heard her go like, "Oh, it's great. Could you imagine yourself on the patio drinking a beer?" I mean, I've heard her say that. I've also heard her say, "Where you kid, she'll throw in like, okay, there's 3 or 4 more houses over there, but that one's it's a lot bigger in the backyard. I see that you got 2 kids. If y'all got, is this all you got, or you got more?" So what she's doing is Sherry is. You can tell she's trying to become their buddy at the house.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to make them like her. That's what she really is doing. It's like dating. You are weaving in just data in between, but your real goal is to make them like you. In between all that data and stuff, because Brandon's right. They can go get data from anybody. But only thing the data and the information about the neighborhood is like, yeah, you may know that the house around the corner has pink tile all through the kitchen. When you're talking about it, I'm going to say, yeah, there is a house around the corner. It does have pink tile, but I don't know if y'all may be into that thing, right? So I'm going to try to find that pink tile and figure another way to connect with them. Because then I can find, because I want to say it's got pink tile, so if you're an artist, you might love it. I don't know. Because I'm digging to try to make a personal connection. Because once I've made a personal connection, I mean, we're really just trying to build a relationship with somebody. If they perceive you're just trying to sell them something, they're going to keep their wall up. They're going to throw that wall up. They don't care how much information you got. They don't care what you're throwing at them. They're going to keep that wall up because they don't want to be sold. And they have to believe you're not trying to sell them anything. And I initially am not. I don't care what they're looking at or I have to try to connect to them first. We'll work out all the details, what they need later. But I have to connect with them. And that's why I said the number one thing to read about is yourself and how to connect to people quickly. Because then everything opens up when you can make those connections. The stuff about knowledge is the conscious competent. That just gives you regimented tools to go. But don't miss, the point is trying to personally get a relationship with those people. Because once they're like, hey, you're our guy or you're our gal for as a realtor, they'll stick with you until they find the house. That part's the easy part. The difficult part is converting them, and it has to be woven into the information that you're selling. Because when you buy a car from somebody, you're ended up liking it. I mean, the guy who sold us our last 2 cars, he is a complete squirrel, but we like him. We do. We like him. I mean, Brandy likes him. We like him. And yeah, we could have gone to any car salesperson, and we did. We talked to a couple, and we go like, I don't connect with them. And this goofy dude, we liked. And so anything we do, we call him back because we just like him. It has nothing to do with whether or not, half the time we call it, hey, what does this do? I don't know. Like, maybe I'll find out. And we go, we don't care what he says. We like him.
He's honest.
Yeah,
He's honest. And we connected to him.
You're not a salesperson. You're a consultant. You're an advisor. You're there to help them make a good decision. So, even when you're out showing houses, I don't care about that house, right? When they walk in, they're going to determine whether they like it or not. It's my job to go look at the condition of the air conditioner, to go look at the hot water heater, if there's floor vents, to pull them up and to see if there's rust and sand in the floor vents, right? I'm there to help them make a good decision. I'm not there to sell them anything. They already probably, if you're out working with them and they're out looking at houses, they already have to buy a house. It's your job to help them make the right decision and to give them the information and the wisdom needed to do it.
And I know with Brandon what he did, we purposely send out that message that we don't care what they buy. And we don't have to say it verbally. We, in the way we talk to them, in our tone, we're projecting that we don't care.
Which is why.
Which is not negative. We don't care about them, but we don't care.
But they buy this one or that.
Right.
Yeah, which is why in our open houses we tell you to give them an objective, give them something to go look at, and try to poke fun at the house a little sometimes if you can, because it drops that initial wall of, oh, this guy just told me to go look at something that's not good about the house. Tell me what you think about that. The ugly master bath, something like that, and it breaks down that wall, like you said, because normally the people with the wall up and the people who are most standoffish are the ones who are going to buy quickest, because they need to make a move right now, so they're real protective, making sure they don't accidentally buy something they don't want. So they're the ones who, if they're more standoffish, that's probably who's going to be your best client, your quickest client.
They'll also be the ones that are more open to the idea if their anxiety level is up, they're afraid of buying something, and they perceive that you're trying to sell them something, it automatically shuts real buyers down. And that's why, Brett, it sometimes works. I don't really care if it's new construction or used, but used construction, you can use it easier because as soon as you go like, hey, this house has got a jacked up bathroom, it could be fixed. Already got the price, but you go look at it first and come back to me. Because what they've already done is I've already done something that no other salesperson's done. They've been walking in open house after open house and meeting realtor after realtor, go like, hey, what are you looking for? And great. And I see that there's 4 other houses in the neighborhood. This house has a dynamic kitchen and bathrooms, and look at this, and the heat and air system's been redone. All they're doing is going, oh, stop it. And then you walk into somebody that goes, hey, the bathroom's jacked up in this house.
Don't flush the stupid.
Right?
No matter what you do.
Right. And so all of a sudden, I knock their wall halfway down with just saying a negative comment about the house I'm standing in. If it's true, I don't make up stuff. It's true, I say it. And then they go, oh, but because it's an objection that I'm going to have to overcome anyway.
Yeah.
And if they go, it is we really like the area. Okay, well, great. We already got a bid. We can change that bathroom for $15,000. So it can be changed. The owner just doesn't want to do it themselves because they don't know what to change. But here's some tile sample. We've already got the quote and the bids for it. Then I won't hurt the sale of that house if it happens. But 9 times out of 10, they're not going to see past the jacked up bathroom. I'm trying to build rapport with them as fast as possible. And by saying something negative, which makes me opposite of every salesperson they talk to. I mean, if I was selling cars, I'd do the same thing. I would start in with hey, what brings you out on the lot today? What kind of price range it's just that throwing that cheesy wall up. I hate that stuff. And I really do. I've walked out of places when I really had to buy a car because I despised the way the whole transaction from the beginning. I thought I can't do it today. I got to go back in, like get away from that idiot. I almost didn't buy another BMW. I could have called the BMW dealership when I was going to buy. I thought I was going to buy another one, but I did not want to go through the same salesperson. So they kept trying to give me back to that one, and I go, I'm telling you, I'm not buying, and I didn't buy one because I could not stand the person I bought the car from. But when I bought the BMW, it was there were only two in Oklahoma City. I didn't have any choice unless I drove to Dallas. So I got stuck. Anyway, long story short, but it's that big of a deal right up at the gate. And with Brett, I knew early on that when he started working in an area where everybody came into the open houses that they were my age, he had to figure out how to make that transition. Brandon had to do the same thing in the beginning. I was old enough, I didn't have to kill that. But Brett was having all these people come through, and they're going, in their head, they're going, he's too young. He couldn't have enough knowledge, right? So he had to address it. We talked about it earlier. Like, you have to address it. You have to go, I know I look young, but here's what I've done. And, I connect and I understand. You probably got, I don't know if you've ever said you got kids my age, but.
I never said that.
Okay, probably don't go that far.
Yeah.
You
I don't
can
ever
say that
assume
with a
their
guy.
age. I don't want to assume their
You
age
can
at
say
all.
it to a guy, but you don't ever say it to a woman.
Yeah.
But
Because there's a empathetic feeling there. My mom, they were shopping for houses in Tulsa, and she went in and met a guy my age and liked him because he reminded her of me, and so she wanted to work with him. So it's not like I can't do it. I just have to address the elephant in the room. I have to say it out loud so that they can say, "Oh no, it's not that," and then now we're past it. Even though it was that, they were concerned about it. But yeah, and so yeah, it's all about building rapport, which is going to be finding common ground, relating with them, dropping their wall, and then being perceived as the knowledgeable person in the whole neighborhood. And I wanted to go back on what Brandon said something earlier, kind of to answer your question from a long time ago. How do you become sharp as a tack? And it wasn't. It is a process. So Brandon said every time you get a listing, learn about that neighborhood. Learn everything about that neighborhood. Preview homes in that neighborhood. When you do an open house, preview homes in that neighborhood. After 8 months or so, you should know 20, 30 neighborhoods really, really well. If you do it strategically, you can know a whole area really, really well. But I know Brandon sold a ton of historic homes, ton in Mesta Park. Brandon's probably been inside 70% of the houses in Mesta Park. Maybe.
Yeah, a lot of them.
He's been in.
They all look the same.
Yeah, they did. So you can act like you've been in every one of them. Well, he's been in a large percentage of those houses in that neighborhood, so he knows a ton about that neighborhood. Even still, when I got started, I wanted to work in the village. So I had a listing in the village, got it from a FISBO. I did it for almost nothing because I wanted to be in there. Did some open houses, and every week I went and previewed every single new house on the market. I knew everything that needed work. I knew how much it was going to cost to renovate it. Every new house that was coming on, I knew through that, I knew of houses that were coming on that weren't on the market yet. Houses that need to be renovated, houses that were renovated. You could give me a price per foot, and I could tell you almost exactly what needed to be done to it. If it needed a kitchen, or I knew almost everything, and I sold 7 or 8 houses in there just off 2 listings because I was able to capture people with what I knew about the neighborhood. So it's about going out, physically putting eyes on stuff, and having the knowledge to relay that. Again, the wisdom, not the data. But that's what it is. It's not. I mean, you can sit down on MLS and do research and get a lot done, but again, that's all stuff they can probably find on MLS or on Zillow.
No, don't call them MLS. Get out and about.
Yeah,
for sure.
who else is new, Charlie, that you feels good about picking up, that you've had some success picking somebody up at an open house? Okay. What would you say? Because, again, when you start talking me, I'm out of the picture because I'm 20 years in this.
you can do it.
Brandon's out of the picture, and now Brett with 3 years is almost disconnected from that picture. We know it works, but it'd be better because you guys are having success at doing it from open houses, right? How are you doing it? Give us your
Can I-
insight. Oh, go ahead.
Can I share Charlie's? Charlie, I thought
Flipper,
Well,
let Charlie tell it.
Well, about
So you have a story and I'll
Yeah.
so we had a listing in Mesta, and he was doing some split open houses with on your 18th Street. So he'd been in Mesta like 3-4 weeks in a row, and he was telling me, I'm having trouble. I'm getting information. I'm sending stuff. I'm not getting anyone. What am I doing? And then all of a sudden it kind of tipped, and so
Well,
say why.
Well, to go back to what I have a tendency to really oversimplify things when I talk about them, but for me, it's been being reasonably knowledgeable in the neighborhood that you're in, and then just being really honest and connecting with people, and just being likable, and if I don't know something, just being like, I don't know this right now, but I'll find out and get back to you. And I found that really takes you a long way, because people know when you've just been feeding them bullshit. So that's something that's been helpful for me. And then back to what Brett mentioned, I had just kind of dotted from open house to open house in Mesta Park, and started seeing a lot of the same faces. And then after a while, people were kind of like, well, I mean, we've seen you around, and maybe we'll give you a shot, And then they started asking you more questions that they wouldn't normally ask you had they not started to have this familiarity with you. And even when I was starting to accumulate information from people and sending people houses and stuff, it was just like, dead space. I was getting nothing back. And then after about a month of that, it started coming back to me a little bit. So really it was just repetition, getting in multiple houses in the same neighborhood, and just becoming really knowledgeable. And I go and walk in everything I can, like what Bach said. That's critical.
You've done an open house on like 30% of the listings, and at that point in Mesta,
Yeah, a handful of them.
on
for sure.
3 or 4 different ones.
How many listings do you have over there now?
Right now, I've only got one, and working on another one. That's the part.
That's still a lot for that area. They
Yeah, there's
even have
usually-
one is kind of a big deal.
It's a very
10 or
difficult area to
15%.
crack into, also. Just because the public knows so much about the area.
Yeah, they really do.
It's not like going through Edmond or Yukon where, you go through a lot of cookie cutter neighborhoods and you feel like, okay, I got this. But when you go to Mesta or Heritage Hills or, Linwood or, Andy Paseo, any of those areas, all the houses are degrees of jacked up. It's like going to an old timey car show.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew does a lot of stuff in there, but you got to be really careful, like what you say about anything personal to any degree, because all those people, they know more about that person than you do probably, and that house than you do.
Yeah.
And I had a recent experience, and this is kind of jumping a little bit, but a recent experience at one of my listing I just got in Edgemere Park, and I'm pretty sure that 2 or 3 of the people that came walking through that house were sent by the people that own the house, just to kind of see how I was handling it. And I really caught myself because I'm like, crap, sometimes I can overshare about stuff, and
Be blunt.
do not do that, because those people, they're sending people in that house to see how you're handling it, especially if it's an empty house and they're maybe out of town or something. So that's something to always be careful about. It only takes one thing. You can say the wrong thing to somebody that's got a house that's an expensive house, or somebody that takes a lot of pride in their stuff, and say the wrong thing, you'd be out the door. So
It's different. That is a harder neighborhood, but it's still bottom line. It's connecting to people. That's how you get them. Lynn, did you got anything you want to add?
No, I don't know. I think I just on my one of the listings in Surrey, I got 3 buyers off of it. One of them, I was at the gym and they called me and I jumped in my car and I ran over there and showed 4 houses in my workout clothes, and they were like, oh my gosh, and I live out there, so most of the time I'm like, oh, I'm at home, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So I think I don't know, it's easy to connect with people, and I think when you, like you said, when you get that connection, then they like you, and that's when they want to work with you, and then I
Then you
showed
can
them the
show up
story
in
and they
your
ended up
gym
buying
clothes.
Southwest Yukon. So they didn't. They met me in Surrey, but they ended up buying that Mustang Yukon area. They didn't even buy in Surrey. So I was still 15 minutes south of where I met them. So it wasn't Surrey that they wanted, but once they met me, then they just stuck with me.
Well, but you have been working that area, so you were extremely knowledgeable on that area. You knew
Not
everything that
Southwest
was
Yukon.
available.
I
Yeah,
never
no,
been
it's
there
not-
before, but yes.
But
yeah,
on Surrey, yes.
Yeah.
So when they walked in,
Yeah.
but not to mention how many people you met walking the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just kind of being out and about, and then gathering the information and connecting with people.
Yeah.
So you connected in an area you knew very well, but you
Right.
sold them a house you knew nothing about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't
Now
care.
I did, but I didn't.
They didn't
Connected.
connect.
Right.
They
Right.
connected, so it doesn't matter. They can, as long as you connect to them in one way,
Yeah.
then they'll go any direction, and then they don't care if you know anything about Southwest Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Here's how important the connection portion is, because people will buy from their relatives who know nothing, but they have
See
a
it.
really strong connection, right? If it's your aunt, you're buying that house from her,
Yeah.
right? Because the connection is so strong. Even though she may know nothing, she might sell one house a year. But you got to do it.
Yeah.
Gary, is that helping in all, or
Yeah, it does help. This is a question that came up while Lane was talking. People say connect. Just connect. Okay. Show with somebody demonstrate. I'm not saying I can't connect. I can connect with people. I get it.
Uh-huh.
But I think, I'm kind of speaking, I think in generalities, because I know there's people that have that question, because I'm still trying to work through it, because my connection from where I came from is a little bit different than connecting on this side. So I'm having to unlearn stuff I did before to an extent, and then learn kind of a new way. But with Sherry, the reason why I felt like it was very successful, my interaction working with her, is because she did it very similarly to what I did before. And I'm like, okay, now I'm back at home again. You know what I mean? So
Well, it's like, make a connection that has nothing to do with houses. Last week, Lindsay and I were doing an open house in the village, and a lot of people bike over there because it's right there by the. I don't bike, but my sister does. So I talked to some guy about biking because I said, "Oh, my sister loves to bike." I mean, it had nothing to do with the house, but it had to do with the location of where the house was, and that's why he liked the house, was because of the location of biking. So half the time, I'm not even talking about the house. I talk about their kids or what they do, or I mean, I don't know. Do they like, do they want a neighborhood pool? I mean, well, that doesn't matter. Just, I don't know. I think you just talk about anything and everything that doesn't have to do with what you're doing. And that's the connection you make. The house is a house, and they can talk to anybody. Why do they want you? It's because the connection that you make that had nothing to do with the house.
okay, I just walked into the open house where you are.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna say?
I mean, like, hey, what are you doing today? You just out messing around, or just looking, or what?
Just out and about. Yeah.
Hey, Gary?
Hold on, let me give this disclaimer. I'm not trying to be difficult.
No.
I'm just trying to be whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's not
I guess.
organic.
Yeah.
Carrie,
It worked that
one
way.
of the things I do,
They are. You guys are really good at it.
and I do an open house almost every weekend. And what I'll do is when someone first walks in, I go, "Oh, thank God you came in, because the last 2 weeks were really slow, and I'm glad to see somebody today." Or if it's slow, I'll go out on the porch and I'll wave at people. And I'll this kind of thing, just to let them know it's okay to come in. I'm okay. And I've had people just stop in the middle of the road. We weren't going to stop, but hey, we stopped because you waved us in. So it's just letting down your guard and just being who you are. And like you said, you are a very easy person to talk to. And it's not throwing out that data information. You're not just throwing up too much information on. You want to have that personal relationship type thing. And just say, hey, I'm Bill, and you are. Nice to meet you. What's your kid's name? Or sometimes they'll say, I'll go right to the kid and say, hey, what's your name? I won't even ask what the parents' names are. Just like connect with the kid.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, do you have your brothers and sisters? Hey, you should check out this backyard. It's really cool. Do you have a swing set? That's big area for that. Just.
Yeah. The other thing is you're really trying to quantify. It's like, okay, Carrie, hey, I want you to be my friend.
Go.
What do I say to make you my friend? Right? That's really hard to do, right? But we're just asking enough questions to find somewhere where we connect with them, right? And being likable. So it's really hard to quantify that connection part in a
But you
script.
see what I'm saying, though, because
Right.
and maybe that's what it is. It's hard to just box it up and say
It's very hard.
This, and this, and it's okay. I mean, I was just kind of.
What was the thing from that book? It was called The Frog. When you meet somebody, it's friends.
It's family.
Okay, family.
Recreation, occupation, goals.
And goals. Okay, so it really didn't have to do with the house. It's like you want to know that person, and not what not the house that they want. Get to know them person, and they get to know you. And they
When
like
I was doing open houses, I put myself and these are the guests that have come to my cocktail party. And when people come to my home, I want them to feel comfortable. And so I do whatever I need to do to make them feel comfortable. It's all about them, not me.
Get him a drink. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
But
Ask-
they told me to ask all these questions.
Yeah.
So I don't
No,
know.
no.
I
This
think
is what we want.
I'm the
But
problem here 'cause-
asking-
No, it's not a problem. It
Asking
is
questions is how you find out about them.
But it is a legitimate question that I should
Yeah.
ask too.
Yeah.
So I would say, Carrie, you guys are coming in. I don't know, is your wife with you at this time?
No, just
You're just by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so you're in by yourself, which is like, all right, Carrie. So you're out looking today. What are you? Why are you coming in today?
You know, I was just riding by. Actually, I was down the street over at a friend's house, and I saw your open house sign. So I thought I'd swing in.
Okay. Are you looking? Are you single, by yourself? Got a family?
I ain't looking because I'm already took.
Yeah.
That's stuff people say. People say that.
I saw the house. It said open house. I thought I'd come take a look and see what it looked like on the inside. You know, my friends lived on the street there.
Okay. Well, you're pretty brave because usually my wife would decide on the house, but hey, if that's
She
you.
may want to look at it later. You know.
See, I'm going to start digging in on like, why are you out here by yourself?
Well,
I'm gonna find it because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, really, to be honest,
Yeah, let's be honest.
my wife is thinking about moving, but I ain't really feeling it. But since I'm over here, that's all.
Why does she? What's wrong with your house now?
Just kind of it's smaller, you know. It's older, smaller. We want to upgrade a little bit.
You said your wife, and you said we. So
Yeah, me and my wife.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
so you're on board if you can find what you want.
I
Which
guess
is
so. Yep.
so old. Is your house old, or you like old?
Yeah,
When you say old,
86, built in 86.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So it's time to upgrade, you know. I see a lot of stuff on HGTV, and my wife is like always, but we need that type of island. And we
Well,
need that open concept, and we need whatever all that stuff they sell.
you ever thought about just remodeling your house? I got great contacts if you want to go down that path.
There's no way I would remodel. I'd just rather go just dump it and go.
And John, I wouldn't do that either because it takes forever. You come home and there's dust everywhere, and you go,
Well, sometimes you have a lot of equity in your house. If you ever want me to take a look at it, I used to do that.
What do you mean?
I used to flip houses all the time, so I've got all the connections. If you guys just want to do some upgrades on your house and don't want to go down this direction, I'd be happy to look and I can even give you a price of what I think it costs to change it.
But I don't want to upgrade. I mean, I just really want to get rid of the house if we, whatever.
Okay,
and move on to something else.
What I'm trying to do is I took away that I don't care if you buy this house. I matter of fact, I'll go help you talk about your own house and help you remodel it. Right? I took completely away
Yeah.
you thinking I want to sell you a new house.
No, but I want a new house.
You
Well, you just said you didn't want to.
That's right.
Now we
Oh, did I? Okay.
Right, because I'm not, it's like I'm gonna find the real reason, and if you're not the decision maker, I got to get to the decision maker.
She's basically the decision maker. She's got me doing some reconnaissance,
Right,
research, and all that stuff.
right. So I would have to find out legitimately why you're out looking at
But
houses
you
by
said you could tell
yourself.
us about our house and tell us what it's worth or something like that.
Absolutely. Or I can tell you whether or not what it costs to remodel it and how much equity you have in it. So
We might want to know what it's worth, and something like that.
yeah. So I'm just digging in on
I know.
whatever I can find out about you, why you're moving, why you think you're moving, and to show you that I don't, because I didn't think that I was going to talk you out of buying a house in this conversation, but I always go back that
talking
way.
and you said that, what's wrong with my house now?
Right.
And I was being honest.
Reversed it, where we have a tendency to push people, buy, where he made it where he was pulling you, where you were going, I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy.
Yeah.
So he completely flipped.
I wasn't trying to be difficult. I mean,
No, I didn't think you were difficult. You were normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a normal. I mean, I could get into that conversation, but as soon as I drop the wall of like, I don't care if you move. Matter of fact, I got great contacts. If you guys want to look at remodeling your house,
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before. If I haven't done it, I know a lot of people who do it and have done it and have got a lot of contacts. My company's got tons of contacts to help you get through that process. With a lot of times, it's a lot cheaper than what you think could be done. But if you guys want me to look at your house, we can look at it. I can't do it today. So again, I just say things like, I can't do it today, which makes if I said, oh, I could do it today, then it automatically becomes pushy. It does. If I automatically say I can't do it today, I don't know if I have any time on Monday, but I probably could look at it Tuesday. See, I'm taking it away from you all the time. What I can do, it's on that I don't care if I'm going to come see your house when I can fit it in. And it makes you think, well, I really do need this guy to look at my house.
He's busy.
He is busy. Right. And I don't care to go run. I'm not desperate to sell you anything. I'm going to work it like a business, and it's like I'm going to treat you like I would treat my family or my brother or friends. If they call me and go, hey, we're thinking about selling our house, I don't go, oh my God, I'm coming right over right now to go look at our house. I mean, I wouldn't do that to my friends. So I'm trying to treat you like you're just my friend, not. I don't care if you buy anything from me, because you might not buy anything from me, but you may like me and send your neighbor to me. Hey, we met this really awesome guy who is a remodeler, and I know you guys were thinking about you ought to talk to him. Seems like he's pretty knowledgeable, right? So I don't know what business I'm going to be created from you, but I got to figure out, like, I'm just trying to find some way to help you. You're looking for a house. You don't like your old house. What's wrong with it? Why don't you live, whatever, Are you flipping your pen?
To reiterate Steve's thought, I've had people recently that I've seen a bunch of, seen a few times that, houses finally just kind of, man, we're not really sure, we're not really sure that we're ready to buy. If we do buy, we're gonna buy with you because we just really connect with you, and we feel like you're somebody we can work with. And I think that goes, whether they want to buy in 10 minutes or they want to buy in 10 months, if you have that part, solidified, then everything else takes care of itself. So between just being yourself and also being knowledgeable, everything else takes care of itself, I think. That's oversimplification, but to me that's
Because I
what it
think
is, right?
at your old position, it was all about the house, right? We had to sell the house. We had to talk about every feature.
You got to connect with them, but you're in a garage.
Right.
So you got to connect with them. You meet them. What brings you out? Why are you out looking? What are you guys looking for? Where are you from?
Yeah.
How does your little boy? Whatever. You get into all that stuff. You get all those little sidebars going. Hey, what I'd like to do is show you the model. Not trying to convince you to like the model. I just want to show it to you.
Yeah.
Because we use that as a measuring stick, just kind of get a feel for what you like and don't like.
Yeah.
You may love it and you may hate it. It's okay either way. It doesn't matter.
I think me anyway, I don't know about the average person, I think they probably expect the whole show when they go into a model.
Yeah.
And so I think they're more willing for that.
Yeah.
The average person, you may know, I think you even said something, you get more people in an open house than you do a model, right?
Absolutely. All day long.
It's because people don't want to have that interaction.
Yeah.
So you have to get past that wall, but still have that same conversation with them. And the way
he does it all day long.
Yeah, and the way you do it is by taking the sale off the table right away, kind of like Steve said. Like, I'm not trying to sell you this house.
Yeah.
Say something about the house. Say something about, take it off of the house, put it back on your house. Take the sale off the table, have a conversation, get to their motives, find out about them. Building rapport is about finding common ground and being knowledgeable. Because if they like you, they'll use you. But if they like you and they think you're an idiot, they'll probably talk to you, but they might go find someone else.
Sure.
Or if they know you're smart, but they just don't like you, like the BMW dealer, he probably knows a bunch about BMWs, but Steve just didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to break down that wall, because a lot of times they want to walk in, they want an MLS sheet, they want to look around, they want to leave. They don't want to say a word.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to get over the fact that you're there, and that's why we give them stuff and then let them walk away, because it kind of they drop, and now they're talking to themselves. You can hear them, you can overhear them, you can talk about what they were talking
So
about.
you say give them the MLS sheet and then let them go wherever?
Yeah, so that's one of our 3 touches. We touch them when they first walk in, introduce ourselves, go back and get the MLS sheet. Here you go. Here's some specs. It's this much. It's this big. Take a look around. Let me know what you think. Hey, check out that master bathroom. It's in desperate need of a renovation. Tell me what you think, or whatever that. And then they leave. They come back, and our third touch is when we start to probe them, really probe them, ask questions about them. Stop me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
But so you have to kind of, when you give them space, it's different, but it's not what they get a lot, and so it drops every time we touch them and meet them and say their name. It drops that wall just a little bit more. And then once you get them to a position where they trust you, or they perceive you as knowledgeable, they like you, and they start asking you questions, that's when you've really got them. That's when you need to go for the throat with them. But
Go for the throat.
yeah, go for the kill.
First,
Kill 'em.
it's-
Murder 'em.
First it was a tackle. Now it's go for the throat. You got
Not
some
a trade
aggression
skill
going
there.
on.
This guy needs to get in the gym, get this out.
But that's it's about, you have to break down that wall first immediately. I think that may not be. I think when people went into models, I think they kind of expected this spiel. Maybe they wanted it. Now people are coming in and they don't want to talk to you.
You're getting the people who are going open houses for us are like people who are going to car lots on Sundays. There's no salespeople there. That's what they just really want to look, right? When you go to a car salesman during the day, you know that you're mentally preparing yourself
For
that you're going to buy a car and that you're going to have to go through the process. So your wall is like up. And the reason why we like Michael, our salesman, is because he actually told me cars. I would look at a car and go, "That's kind of cool." He goes, "You do not want that." And I go, "How do you know I don't want that?" And he goes, "Because look at it. It's got these cheap looking rims on it. You're not going to like it." And I go, "Oh, okay." And he was like, so all he had to do was remove that, tell me something that I wouldn't know me enough to figure out just a little bit to take something away from me. And as soon as he took it away, I knew I was being sold. I knew it. But I'm okay with it because it was okay because he did it in the right order. The person who I look at a car and go, "Oh, this is a great car." Well, okay, that's too fast. You don't even know what I want first. And so he knew enough to pull something away from me really fast on, which then made me think, okay, I trust him. He's trying to, which is all crap. I was going to buy a car, and he knew it. Eventually, he would figure it out. And I stuck with it because I didn't buy one the first day I went there. It actually, to get exactly what I wanted, they had to order it. And I had to wait till it came in. So it's like I was willing, but I hung with him. The worst thing salespeople hate is you leave out of there going, yeah, because we all done it. We all lied, and we go back, yeah, we'll call you back. We don't mean that, typically, right?
Yeah.
Unless you really like them, then you're going to go like, okay, I'm sticking through. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to deal with anybody. If he wasn't even at the lot, I wouldn't go up there to go look. I mean, it's just that's how much we ended up liking him. And he's a squirrel. He is. I would hang out with him.
Authentically a
socially.
squirrel, right? That's important.
Yeah, authentic. He is. He
He ended up selling me a car that I had never even heard of.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the car I'm looking for." He's like, "You don't want that one. He's like, this one's got way more power." I was like, "Okay, so I'm getting this car." Just because I knew you guys trusted them, so.
So
You
it was a
don't
referral.
just be their friend. Find out how you can become their friend. Connect with them and stuff. Just pay attention to what they wear, their clothes. If they got something on their shirt, ask them questions like Kevo. Oh, you're Kevo. But what's Kevo? Questions like that. Just be observant and listen to conversations. So they connect. Kids are a good connection. Biking if you're in the area, things like that. Just paying attention and listening.
It is a sales process of getting a new buyer, but it's not a typical sales process because you can role play a new sale on a car, a new construction home. You can actually role play that skit out of like hey, this bedroom seemed too small. How too small are they, right? If this room had another foot, would that be what would make a difference? I mean, you've got an answer for every objection because it's a product. The role play you got to get your mindset in to be really successful is that you now are the product, and you have to get them on board to accept you. And that is, and I'm not saying mechanically it doesn't. But the longer you do it, the better you get at it, and you can make those instant connections really, really fast. But when we keep saying over and over, we're actually the product in this case. The house is not the product. You are the product, and that sales and I'm going to keep saying it's closer to dating. There is a sales process to dating, but you wouldn't go into a dating situation and go, "Hey, well, what kind of product? What are you looking for? I got a job." Well, I don't know. How much do you make? I make $85,000. I was really looking for somebody making more. Well, are you thinking if I made, maybe 10,000 more, you consider? I mean, right? I mean, that's a mechanical sales process that you,
Get a raise, sir.
right? Or the conversation is, you got a pinky ring. That's cool. When did you get that? When did you get it?
Me? 15 years ago.
15. Where were you at the
Your toes been the same size. Look at you.
Yeah.
It's a toes on
I told him not. Yeah,
But-
I told
I'm
him.
pretty sure your toes don't gain weight.
Okay.
Or lose weight.
It's
I don't think
that is also you're going to start you'd move through that sales process the same way. I'm going to spend 90% of my time asking her about her and making her feel good about herself. Let her do 90% of the talking, and then she's going to walk out of the conversation in that sales process, like we do with anything else, out of the house going like, I liked him, or I think she'd be a good sales. And all they did is talk about themselves. What will they do?
Let people talk about themselves and say their name. Everyone wants to hear their name over and over and over again.
Yes.
And let them talk about themselves.
And it's totally like Brandy's doctor. I know that he loves shoes. I know it's a crazy thing, but I know he likes shoes. He sells which shocked me because he's a bigger dude, and I didn't. But he likes sailboating. But anyway, and he loves shoes, and he loves electronics. And this is all in a conversation when I'm going up to the doctor with Brandy. I'm just digging in and find out what he likes. I don't, And then of course, now he's trying to buy their. He asked me, he goes, "Hey, we got to really buy a building. Would you hook us up?" I said, "Sure." Now, he doesn't know that I know anything about commercial real estate, but he knows that I talk about his shoes and his sailboat. And he goes, "Oh, now sell us a commercial building." I said, "All right, you want me to?" I got, and so I didn't even go like, oh, "Okay, we'll do it." I mean, just, all right, we'll do it. But it was all building a relationship that was about not what he does, not the type of, because that's what he does, and he's not. That wasn't going to get his friends wouldn't sit around and every time, "Oh, so you blah 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 do this," and like what kind of people. My friends don't go and say, "Hey, let's talk about real estate" every time I get around them. They're talking about personal stuff, all that stuff, and that's what I want to get into the conversation with my future clients, because I want them to. I look at them like they're not just a sale for today; they're forever. And that's the same thing I do with new recruits that are here and new realtors. I don't look at people going like, "Oh, they're going to get on board and sell 10 houses and it's over." It's like, no, I want the relation. I'm building a relationship. I want this to be a 15 or 20-year relationship with the realtors that are here. So I don't want to ever act like I'm not intending that's what I'm after. It's because if anybody ever perceived like, oh, he just wants me to go sell some houses and doesn't care anything about me personally, then it's kind of a shallow relationship. We all have different roles. You're all obviously sell houses, but it's better that I know what is personally going on with people, because how can you really help people if you don't know something about them? Cry when they cry. Or be happy when they're happy. Excited, when they get their rings or watches. That's thrilling. Like one of my kids did something awesome. Is that too long?
That's good.
Did I go over?
We're all still here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, nobody wanted to be rude. Go.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
dragging on.
It's like, oh my god.
That's it.
Thanks, Brad.